The janitor's hands were shaking as he touched the piano keys at 5:47 a.m., the same hands that once played Carnegie Hall. Daniel Harper wasn't supposed to be in the music room. He was supposed to be emptying trash bins on the 3rd floor of Manhattan Preparatory Academy, finishing his shift before the wealthy parents arrived in their Teslas and Mercedes. But he'd heard crying through the door. 2 8-year-old girls, identical twins in $300 dresses, sitting on the piano bench, mascara streaking down their faces. "Everyone leaves us," one of them whispered. Daniel knew that feeling. He'd buried his wife 5 years ago, raised his 9-year-old daughter Emma alone in a Bronx studio apartment while scrubbing floors to pay rent. He'd walked away from a Juilliard scholarship and a concert career because grief doesn't care about talent. The metronome in his locker, the one his wife Sarah gave him before she died, hadn't ticked in half a decade. He should have walked away. But instead, he sat down and played a single C major chord. What happened in the next 7 minutes would destroy a billionaire's carefully controlled world and force Daniel to face the music he'd been running from since the day Sarah's heart stopped. Did those twin girls know they'd just met the one man in Manhattan their mother couldn't buy, bully, or break? 15 minutes earlier, Daniel had been scrubbing bathroom grout with a toothbrush. His navy blue janitor uniform was damp with cleaning solution. At 5:32 a.m., Manhattan Prep was silent except for industrial air conditioning and Daniel's breathing. Night shift janitor, $16.50 an hour, just enough to cover rent if he skipped lunch most days. The work was mindless. That's what Daniel needed. Mindless meant no thinking about Juilliard or Sarah's hands on his shoulders while he practiced Chopin, back when the future looked like European tours instead of mop buckets. He heard crying from the locked music room. Protocol said radio security, but Daniel had the master key. He checked his watch. 5:43 a.m., 17 minutes before teachers arrived. He opened the door. The twins, auburn hair, green eyes red from crying, sat on the piano bench in darkness. Their dresses probably cost more than Daniel's monthly rent. One had mascara streaked to her chin. The other clutched a phone with a cracked screen. "You're not supposed to be in here," Daniel said quietly. "Neither are you," one twin snapped. "You're the mop man." "Sophia, don't be mean," the other whispered. Then her face crumpled. "Everyone leaves us. The nannies, the teachers. Even Daddy moved to Singapore. And you'll leave too because that's what grown-ups do." Daniel's chest tightened. He thought about Emma's face every morning when he packed her PB&J lunch. He thought about Sarah in the hospital asking him to play, and his throat closing, his fingers freezing. He should have called security. Instead, he sat at the piano bench. The twins went quiet. Daniel's fingers were calloused from mop handles now, not piano practice. The Steinway probably cost more than he'd made in 2 years. He looked at the twins holding each other's hands like they were the only solid thing in a shifting world. He pressed one key, C major. The note rang pure and clear. The twins stopped crying. Daniel played the chord again, added E and G, a simple triad, just sound filling space where words failed. "Why does that sound sad?" Sophia asked. "It's not sad. It's just honest." 7 minutes. That's how long Daniel played. And in those 7 minutes, the twins went from sobs to stillness. When he lifted his hands, Isabella whispered, "Do you know how to teach people to be less scared?" Daniel thought. Then, music can't make you less scared, but it can teach your heart to find its rhythm again. He didn't know those words would haunt him, because in 13 days, he'd sit at this piano in front of 200 of Manhattan's wealthiest parents, and the only rhythm he'd hear would be his own terrified heartbeat. The 6 train at 7:30 a.m. was packed, 90 minutes from Manhattan Prep to the Bronx, to the 450-square-foot studio where Emma would be reading at their curb-found kitchen table. Sarah Harper. born Sarah Helen Morrison. They'd met at Juilliard during freshman orientation, both 18 and stupid with dreams. Married at 25 in a courthouse. 6 years of enough. Then, diagnosis. Stage 4 ovarian cancer. 18 months from symptom to funeral. Daniel had been practicing Rachmaninoff when Sarah collapsed. So deep in the music he hadn't heard her call his name. By the ambulance, by the doctor saying metastatic and palliative, Daniel had decided, never touch piano again. Because what kind of person loses themselves in music while their wife dies in the next room? Home was a 5th floor walk-up. Daniel's knees ached by the 3rd floor. Too many hours scrubbing tiles. He unlocked the door at 9:17 a.m. Emma at the kitchen table with a library book about space. Relief flashed across her face, followed by careful neutrality. His 9-year-old had learned not to worry out loud. Morning, Dad. Morning, sweetheart. Breakfast meant oatmeal. Always oatmeal. 35 cents per serving from Costco bulk. While water boiled, Daniel watched Emma read. Sarah's brown hair. Sarah's lip-biting concentration. Sometimes looking at her physically hurt. Dad? Emma's voice quiet. Jessica's mom is taking her to a piano recital at Lincoln Center. She said I could come, if you wanted. It's free for kids. Daniel's hand tightened on the spoon. Maybe another time, Em. Emma nodded. Didn't push. Never pushed. And that was worse than arguing. After breakfast, Daniel walked Emma to PS 89. 14 blocks. At the gate, she hugged him. Love you, Dad. Love you too, baby. He watched until she disappeared inside. Then home to collapse on their pull-out couch. 6 hours until his second job at Columbia. 4 hours of sleep, if lucky. Before closing his eyes, Daniel looked at the closet. His janitor's locker key on a hook. Locker 47 at Manhattan Prep. Inside, the metronome wrapped in Sarah's blue scarf. Brass with engraving, SH, DH. Keep time. Keep hope. Daniel hadn't wound it in 5 years. Couldn't bear the ticking. Couldn't bear how it counted seconds he was living that Sarah wasn't. But all he could hear was the twins' voice. Do you know how to teach people to be less scared? No, Daniel thought. But I know how to hide from it. Victoria Ashford's heels clicked on marble at exactly 8 a.m. Monday. She was never late, never early. Time was the only resource you couldn't buy more of. Her mess Birkin bag, $47,000. Milan tailored suit, $4,200. Auburn hair in severe bun. Her twin daughters inherited her coloring but not her control. Mr. Whitmore. Victoria didn't wait for invitation. I received your email at 6:43 this morning. I'm here about your failure to manage my daughter's situation. Ronald Whitmore, 54, headmaster for 12 years, had dealt with difficult parents. But Victoria was her own category. Mrs. Ashford, I appreciate. Let me save us time. Victoria tapped her iPad twice. 18 months, 12 nannies. Longest tenure, 6 weeks. Most recent quit after 3 days, citing aggressive behavior. 8 psychologists, 3 behavioral specialists, 2 preschool expulsions for biting and hitting. I pay $65,000 per child annually, $130,000 total, plus my foundation's $500,000 donation to your scholarship fund and arts program. Whitmore felt sweat. That $500,000 paid 3 teacher salaries, 20 scholarships, the music department. I'm presenting data and demanding solutions. You have 18 days to implement sustainable care for Sophia and Isabella, or I transfer them to Dalton and redirect my giving. Mrs. Ashford, do you understand what it's like running a company with 247 employees while managing 2 impossible children? Being a single mother because their father chose Singapore? Having all my resources, money, connections, and I can't solve this one problem? For a moment, Whitmore saw underneath Victoria's armor. Fear. Raw, desperate fear. Then she blinked. Gone. 18 days, Mr. Whitmore. Results, not excuses. After Victoria left, Whitmore thought about her threat, about scholarship students who'd lose spots, about Sophia and Isabella, 2 8-year-olds everyone had given up on. Then he thought about Friday morning. He'd seen Daniel Harper, the quiet night janitor, in the music room with Victoria's twins at 6:32 a.m. They'd been crying at 5:45, but with the janitor, they'd been peaceful. Whitmore pulled up Daniel's file. Age 38. Hired August 2021. Clean background. Excellent reviews. Never missed shifts. No issues. Education. Some college. But Whitmore remembered 3 weeks ago. Faculty break room. Patricia Chen, music director, showing old concert programs. This was beautiful. Carnegie Hall, 2009. Daniel Harper. The New York Times called him a rare gift. Then he just disappeared. Whitmore looked at Daniel's application again. Age 38. That would make him 23 in 2009. Some college. At 11:05 p.m., Whitmore found Daniel mopping science lab hallways. Mr. Harper, I need to speak with you privately. 5 minutes later, they sat at student desks. I'm going to ask something highly irregular. You can say no without affecting your employment. Okay. You were in the music room Friday with Victoria Ashford's daughters. You kept them calm 7 minutes. Longer than anyone in 18 months. Those girls are in crisis. Mrs. Ashford threatens to pull significant funding if we can't provide stable supervision. Every qualified professional failed. I don't understand. I need someone to supervise them 2 weeks. Trial, keep them calm 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., $800 per week extra. Daniel stared. 800? You have a daughter. Emma. Public school. Whitmore leaned forward. I'm desperate. These are 2 little girls failed by every adult except their mother, and even she's failing because she's solving with money instead of presence. I'm a janitor. I have no training. Patricia Chen recognized you. Silence. Daniel's face went still. She saw you catch a coffee cup 3 weeks ago. Said you moved like a pianist. Carnegie Hall, 2009. Juilliard graduate. The Times called you a rare gift. I should get back to work. Is it true? Were you that pianist? Daniel stood, hand on door handle, then stopped. Shoulders sagged. My wife died 5 years ago. I gave up music. Now I mop floors because it's simple and doesn't ask me to feel anything. That's the truth. I'm a janitor. That's all I am. Then help as a janitor. Just sit with 2 scared girls 3 hours daily. You don't have to teach or fix them. Just be there. Daniel's hand tightened. $800 weekly for 2 weeks is $1,600. 2 months savings for Emma's future. Public school budgets are tight. Manipulative. Whitmore knew, but he was desperate. If Victoria finds out my past, she'll crucify me. Make sure I never work in education again. She won't hear it from me. And if I can't help them, then we tried. Daniel closed his eyes, finally nodded. 2 weeks. That's all. After Daniel left, Whitmore sat in the classroom. Through the window, Manhattan's lights, wealth, power, privilege. 2 little girls with everything except what they needed. A janitor who'd given up Carnegie Hall for grief. Then Whitmore heard it. Faint but distinct. Ticking. Rhythmic. Like a metronome. Impossible. The music room was across the building, and all metronomes were locked in supply cabinets. Just the building settling. His imagination. He locked up and went home. 3 floors below, in the janitor's break room, locker B1, on a 411, sat closed and locked. Inside, wrapped in blue scarf, a brass metronome ticked steadily. No one had wound it, but it ticked anyway. Wednesday, 3:20 p.m. Daniel stood outside the music room, hands sweating, heart pounding like Carnegie Hall instead of babysitting 8-year-olds. $800 weekly wasn't enough if Victoria discovered his past and destroyed him. But enough if Emma needed textbooks. Enough if their water heater died. Enough to matter. He opened the door. Sophia on the piano bench. Isabella in the corner, arms around knees. They looked up, faces hostile. "You're the mop man," Sophia said with casual cruelty. "Mom said you smell like chemicals." Daniel closed the door. "I'm Daniel. Mr. Whitmore asked me to hang out with you after school." "We don't need babysitters," Isabella said. "We've had 12. They all quit because we're impossible. Nanny Teresa said we're impossible, and our mother is cold, and our father doesn't love us enough to stay." "Did you make her leave?" Isabella lifted her chin. "We told her the truth. She was only there for money. Didn't care. When she said sweet dreams, she was lying, waiting for 6 p.m. to clock out." "Was she lying?" "Everyone's lying," Sophia said. "That's what grown-ups do. Pretend to care, then leave." Daniel saw what everyone missed. They weren't impossible. They were terrified. He sat on the floor, cross-legged like a kid. "You're right. Most adults lie. They pretend because it's their job, or they want something, or they're scared of looking bad. And you can always tell. The fakeness in their voices." The twins stared. "But I won't lie. I don't know how to fix you because you're not broken. I don't love hanging out with 8-year-olds. Kids scare me. And this job is about money. Your headmaster offered $800 weekly and I need it. I have a daughter and we barely make rent." Sophia's mouth opened. "That's truth. I'm here for money. But you know what else is true? Friday, when I heard you crying, I didn't have to open the door. I could have walked away. Money wasn't part of it then. When I played piano, that wasn't because anyone asked. That was because I remembered being that scared." "You were scared as a kid?" Isabella asked, small. "I'm scared now, every day. But yeah, scared as a kid too. Scared I wasn't good enough. Scared people would find out I was faking. Scared if I loved something, it would get taken away." "Did it?" Sophia asked. "Get taken away?" Daniel thought about Sarah, Juilliard, the metronome ticking 3 floors below. "Yeah, it did." The twins looked at each other. Invisible twin communication. Isabella stood, walked over, sat next to Daniel. Not touching, but close. Strawberry shampoo. Sophia followed. 30 seconds. Then Sophia. "Do you know why metronomes were invented?" Daniel blinked. "What?" "Friday you played without a metronome. Ms. Chen always makes us use one. Says it teaches rhythm. You didn't need one." "Why?" "Metronomes were invented because humans are imperfect. We speed up excited, slow down sad, rush hard parts, linger on beautiful parts. Metronomes fix that. Keep us steady. Mechanical. Perfect. But you didn't use one," Isabella said, "because I wasn't trying to be perfect. I was trying to be honest." Sophia frowned. "Ms. Chen says perfect is what matters." "Ms. Chen isn't wrong. Perfect technique matters professionally. But you know what matters more? Your heartbeat." He looked at both girls. "Close your eyes." Hesitation. Then slowly, they obeyed. "Put your hand on your chest. Feel your heart beating." They did. "That's your rhythm, not a metronome's. Yours. When calm, maybe 60 beats per minute. Scared, maybe 100, 120. Sad, it gets heavy. Your heart is better than any machine because it tells the truth about how you feel." Isabella's hand pressed her chest. "It's fast now." "Mine too." "Why are you scared?" Sophia asked, eyes closed. "Because I haven't talked about music in 5 years. My heart says I'm supposed to keep running, but I'm sitting here anyway." Sophia opened her eyes. "That's brave? Doing it even when your heart beats fast?" "Yeah, that's brave." Silence. Then Daniel pulled out a key. The key to locker 47. "I have something to show you." He jogged to the janitor's break room, hands shaking as he opened the locker. The metronome, wrapped in Sarah's scarf, sat there. The ticking had stopped. Of course it stopped. Metronomes don't wind themselves. Or do they? Because Whitmore heard ticking, and Daniel was certain he hadn't touched this locker. He carried it back. The twins sat exactly where he'd left them. He sat between them and unwrapped the metronome. Brass, Art Deco, 1940s vintage. Sarah found it at a Soho antique shop, spent 3 months' grocery money. On the base, SH, DH, keep time, keep hope. What's that? Isabella whispered. A metronome, but also a memory. Daniel wound the spring. Click, 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 got in quiet. He set it to 60 beats per minute, released the pendulum. Tick, tick, tick. That's your resting heartbeat, 60 per minute. Now breathe with me. In on tick, out on talk, he demonstrated. The twins copied. In, out, tick, talk. After 2 minutes, Isabella. My heart is slowing down. That's the magic. You can't control feelings directly, but you control breathing. Breathing controls heart. Heart controls feelings. Sophia touched the metronome. What does the engraving mean? Daniel's throat tightened. From someone who wanted me to remember that even when life feels chaotic, you can still find rhythm. Still keep time. Still hope. Do you still hope? Isabella asked. The question hit like a blow. 5 years of avoiding. Emma asking for lessons, and him saying no. Avoiding concert halls where Sarah's ghost might linger. I'm trying, he said. They spent the hour on heart rhythm exercises, breathing patterns matching metronome speeds, clapping games, counting, simple patterns giving the twins external focus instead of internal chaos. By 6 p.m., when Victoria's driver arrived, Sophia and Isabella were calm. Not perfect, not fixed, but present. As they left, Isabella turned. Will you be here tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow and after. With the metronome? With the metronome. After they left, Daniel sat alone, looked at the Steinway, at Sarah's metronome still ticking. 13 days until Victoria's deadline. He thought about how badly this could go wrong. Then about 2 8-year-olds asking if he'd be there tomorrow. Tiny spark of trust in their voices. Daniel picked up the metronome, wound it again. Didn't put it in the locker. Set it on top of the piano. Left it ticking in the empty room. 3 days of pattern. Daniel arrived 3:41 p.m. Twins waiting. Breathing exercises. Rhythm games. Patterns teaching them to regulate emotional states without adults doing it for them. Daniel didn't touch the piano. No music, notes, scales, just tools to calm racing hearts. Friday, 5:03 p.m. Victoria returned early from business trip. She saw everything through the window. Her daughters. Floor with Janitor, laughing. Janitor holding something brass and ticking. Her daughters' faces peaceful. Hadn't seen that in 18 months. Victoria's hand tightened on her phone. 3 photos through window, then to Whitmore's office. Emergency parent meeting. Now. Call board members. 30 minutes. 8 parents around conference table. Major donors. Board members. Victoria at head like she owned it. Because she did. Whitmore entered. Face resigned. Victoria projected the photos. Daniel on floor with twins. Daniel holding metronome. I'd like to understand why a night janitor is unsupervised with my daughters. Background check? Credentials in child development? Education? Psychology? Whitmore pale. Mrs. Ashford, explain why you placed my children with someone who cleans bathrooms for minimum wage. Margaret Chen leaned forward. Is that man a janitor? Yes. Daniel Harper. Night custodian. How long? 3 years, Whitmore said quietly. Margaret typed on phone. Eyes widened. Ronald. Privately. Now. We're in a meeting, Victoria started. Now. Hallway. Margaret shoved phone in Whitmore's face. New York Times article, July 2009. Young pianist delivers stunning Carnegie Hall debut. Photo. Young man in tuxedo at grand piano. Daniel Harper, 15 years younger. Different haircut. Unmistakably same person. That's your janitor, Margaret said. My sister Patricia mentioned him. Most talented pianist she'd heard. Then he vanished. She read, Harper's Chopin is haunting. A rare gift combining technical perfection with emotional depth. This young man has a brilliant career ahead. What is he doing mopping floors? I don't know, Whitmore whispered. Conference room, Victoria pacing. Mrs. Ashford, I think. Doctor opened. Daniel walked in. Janitor uniform, navy blue, name tag, fresh from night shift, exhausted, dark circles. Called at 5:45 a.m., told come immediately. He saw Victoria. Stopped. Mr. Harper, how nice. Other parents turned. 8 expensive suits and him in uniform with chemical smell. Victoria walked around table, stopped 3 feet away. Questions. Honest answers. First, credentials for working with children. I don't have any. Educational background? Hesitation. I attended Juilliard 4 years. Piano performance. Graduated 2000. Room quiet. Victoria's eyes narrowed. You attended Juilliard? Yes. And now clean toilets? Yes. Did you lie on your application? No. It asked about degrees relevant to custodial position. I don't have those. But you have a degree from Juilliard. In piano performance, not mopping. Someone made a sound. Laugh quickly suppressed. Victoria flushed. Is this funny? You hide qualifications, then insert yourself into my daughter's lives. I didn't insert myself. Mr. Whitmore asked because 12 nannies and 8 psychologists couldn't help. I said yes for $800 weekly because I need money. That's truth. Truth. If you graduated Juilliard and work as janitor, you're a failure. You gave up. You couldn't make it. You settled for pushing a mop because you weren't good enough. Words landed like blows. Daniel's face white. You want to teach my daughters? Be a role model? You're not a role model, Mr. Harper. You're a cautionary tale. Exactly what I don't want my daughters becoming. Someone with every advantage who threw it away. Mrs. Ashford, Whitmore tried. I spend more on piano lessons monthly than you make yearly. And you think you can touch my children? Because you heard crying? People like you need boundaries. Daniel stood there, took it. Didn't defend, explain. Just stood while Victoria destroyed him in front of the board. Margaret couldn't take it. Stood, walked to coffee service, knocked over ceramic cup. Cup fell. Daniel's hand shot out, caught midair, set it gently down. Hadn't looked, hadn't seen, just reflexes. Years catching sheet music, Sarah's violin bows, anything moving because musicians' hands are always ready. Margaret stared. At Patricia, who'd just entered. Patricia looked at Daniel, at his hands, eyes wide. Daniel Harper. You're Daniel Harper from Juilliard. Daniel closed his eyes. Carnegie Hall 2009. Chopin's Ballade No. 1. Times Review. A rare gift. Most beautiful performance I've seen in 20 years. Patricia walked closer. What happened? Victoria looked between them, confused. What is she talking about? Patricia pulled phone, found Times article in seconds, held it for Victoria. This is Daniel Harper, your janitor. He played Carnegie Hall. He is brilliant. Victoria took phone, looked at photo, looked at Daniel. Shock, disbelief, then darker. Betrayal. You lied, didn't tell anyone. You didn't ask. You looked at my uniform and decided you knew everything. I'm a janitor. That's not a lie. That's what I am. No. You're a failure who hid his past to manipulate into my daughters' lives. You knew if anyone found out, people would ask questions, want explanations. You couldn't give them because you quit. You gave up on music, and now you're trying to relive glory days through my children? Mrs. Ashford, that's not fair. Whitmore tried. Fair. This man's been lying by omission, working under false pretenses. I will not have him near my daughters. She turned to Daniel. You're fired. Immediately. If this school ever employs you again, my donation stops. Daniel looked at Whitmore. Whitmore helpless. Daniel nodded, turned, walked out. Hallway, stairs, janitor's break room, locker number 47. Sarah's metronome wrapped in scarf, still ticking. He took it out. Held it. First time in 5 years, he let himself cry. Behind him, small voice. We're sorry. Sophia and Isabella in doorway. Must have been outside conference room, heard everything. Isabella's face wet. We didn't mean for Mom to hurt you. Not your fault. But it is, Sophia said. We're why you're here. Why she found out you're two kids who did nothing wrong. Daniel knelt. Your mom isn't bad. She's scared. Scared people a take. Not about you. Not about me. About her trying to control a world slipping through her fingers. Are you leaving? Isabella asked. I have to. Your mom fired me. But we need you. Daniel's chest ached. No. You needed to learn you could calm your own hearts. You did. You learned. Now you can do it without me. He stood. Twins simultaneously hugged him. He hugged back. Over their heads, Victoria at hallway end. Watching, eyes met. Victoria's expression unreadable. Daniel let go. Walked out at 6:14 p.m. Friday, February 16th. Sarah's metronome in one hand, uniform in plastic bag. He didn't know he'd be back in 13 days. Didn't know he'd walk through 200 people to reach a piano bench. All he knew, he'd tried. Failed, and had to explain to Emma they were back to $34,000 yearly. Saturday morning, Emma found Daniel at kitchen table staring at metronome. Dad, you okay? Just tired. You're always tired. She sat across. What's that? Mom's metronome. She gave it at college. Emma touched it. It's beautiful. Can I wind it? Daniel hesitated, nodded. Emma wound it, set pendulum swinging. Tick, tick, tick. Mom wanted to be a musician. She was, a violinist. Brilliant. Better than me. But she gave it up when sick because treatments made her hands shake. Quiet moment. Do you miss playing, Dad? Every day. Then why don't you? How do you explain? Sometimes what you love most becomes what you can't touch. Beauty hurts as much as ugliness. You can miss something and run from it simultaneously. Because I'm scared. Scared if I play, I'll remember too much. Mom's face asking me to play at hospital and I couldn't. The last concert, the night she collapsed, and I was so focused on perfecting a passage I didn't hear her calling. Emma stood, climbed into Daniel's lap. Too big now, all elbows and knees, but did it anyway. Dad, I don't remember Mom playing. I was 4 when she died, but I remember her singing. She couldn't play because hands shook, but she could sing. Every night, even barely breathing. She sang because she loved me, not because she was perfect. Daniel held his daughter, cried into her hair. Mom would want you to play again. Not to be perfect, just because it's part of you. When you hide it, you're hiding from me too. Long time, metronome ticking beside them. Monday. Daniel's phone rang. Whitmore. Mr. Harper, I apologize. What Victoria said was inexcusable. I'm trying to convince the board to override, but she controls too much funding. It's okay, I understand. No, it's not. Shouting in background. Child voices. What's happening? Sophia and Isabella. They've locked themselves in the music room. Won't come out. Won't let anyone in except... Whitmore trailed off. Except me. I can't officially ask you back, but those girls are asking. And no one, not Victoria, not specialists, not anyone, can get them to unlock the door." Daniel looked at Emma. She was listening, eyes wide. Emma nodded. "Go, Dad. I'll be there in 90 minutes. He arrived 4:30 p.m. Hallway outside music room crowded. Victoria, Whitmore, 2 police officers, 3 behavioral specialists. Everyone turned. Victoria's face unreadable. "They asked for you." "Can I talk to them?" Victoria nodded, stepped aside. Daniel knocked gently. "Sophia? Isabella? It's Daniel. Are you still fired?" Isabella's voice muffled. "Yeah, but I came anyway." "Why?" "Because you asked." Silence. Lock turning. Door opened crack. Isabella's face, red and puffy. "Everyone's yelling at us. Said we're ridiculous, manipulative. Said, 'Can I come in?'" Isabella opened wider. Daniel slipped in. Door closed. Sophia on piano bench, arms around knees. Daniel sat on floor. "You guys okay?" "No," Sophia said. "Everything's worse. Mom hired another nanny, nice but fake. New therapist wants medicine that makes us fuzzy. Dad called yesterday but hung up after 5 minutes for a meeting and we miss you," Isabella finished. "We know that's stupid. You were only there for money. But we miss you." Daniel's throat tightened. "Not stupid." "Yeah, I took the job for money. But that's not why I kept coming. I kept coming because you reminded me being scared is okay. Breathing through it is okay. You don't have to be perfect to be worth someone's time. Mom doesn't think that. Your mom is terrified. She thinks if she's perfect enough, controls everything, plans every detail, nothing bad can happen. But life doesn't work that way. Bad things happen anyway. And perfect doesn't help. Presence helps. Connection helps. Love helps." Isabella sat next to him. "Did bad things happen to you?" "Yeah. My wife died. I thought it was my fault because I was practicing when she collapsed. Thought if I'd been paying attention, I could have saved her. So I gave up music, became janitor because I thought I deserved punishment." "Do you still think that?" Sophia asked. Emma's words. Sarah singing with shaking hands. Metronome ticking. "No, I think I was just scared. Hiding felt safer than trying." Sophia slid off bench, sat Daniel's other side. "We're supposed to perform at Spring Gala March 1st. Mom signed us up, but we don't want to without you." "Spring Gala?" Daniel's stomach dropped. Manhattan Prep's biggest fundraiser. Black tie, major donors, press. Mom invited Maestro Leonard Bernstein Jr. as guest. To impress people. We're supposed to play piano duet, but we're bad at piano and hate our teacher, and we want you to teach us, Sophia said. If you can't officially because fired, then secretly. We'll sneak out. Come to your apartment. Whatever it takes. Daniel saw the same desperate determination he'd felt at their age, begging his mother for piano lessons they couldn't afford. "If you teach us, and we perform, maybe Mom will see you're not a failure. Maybe she'll see you're the best teacher we've had. And maybe you'll see it too," Sophia added quietly. Daniel closed his eyes, Victoria's face firing him, walking back into that privilege and judgment. The risk, then Emma, Sarah, the metronome ticking again. "Okay, but we do this my way. No sneaking. I'll talk to your mom. Get permission. She'll never give it. Then I'll convince her." 20 minutes later, Daniel in front of Victoria in Whitmore's office. Twins went with Nanny. Hallway cleared. Just Victoria, Daniel, Whitmore. "Mrs. Ashford, I understand why you fired me. You thought I lied. Thought I was using your daughters to relive failed dreams. I get it. You're partially right. I did give up music. Did fail. But not because I wasn't good enough, because I was too scared to face grief." Victoria's expression didn't change. "Is this compelling defense?" "No. It's truth. Your daughters asked me to teach them for Spring Gala. I know I'm not qualified by your standards. But they trust me. And trust is what they need, more than credentials. They trust you because you manipulated them with sad stories and a metronome. They trust me because I don't lie. I told them I'm there for money. I'm scared. I'm not perfect. That's what they've never heard. Honesty instead of performance. Victoria stood. This conversation is over. Will you at least watch? Once. Watch me teach 1 hour. If you think I'm manipulating or doing anything harmful, I'll walk away. You'll never see me again. But if you see what I see, 2 kids who just need someone to stop trying to fix them and start listening, maybe you'll let me finish. Victoria stared, then looked at Whitmore. This is highly irregular. Mrs. Ashford, Whitmore said carefully. Your daughters locked themselves in a room 3 hours today. Only Mr. Harper could get them out. That should tell you something. Victoria's jaw tightened. Finally. 1 hour. Tomorrow. 4 p.m. I'll watch through window. If I see anything wrong, you're out. Understood? Understood. Daniel left into February evening. Cold, gray, unforgiving city. But somewhere in distance, he could hear music. Or maybe just his own heart, finally finding its rhythm. Tuesday, 4 p.m. Daniel in music room with twins. Victoria watching through window, arms crossed. 1 hour to prove he wasn't what she thought. He set Sarah's metronome on piano. Your mom says you're performing at Spring Gala. What were you planning? We don't know, Sophia admitted. Old teacher was picking, but she quit. Can you play piano? Badly, Isabella said. 4 years lessons, but we hate it. Why? Boring, hard. Teachers yell when we mess up. Pieces are stupid. Daniel nodded. Okay, we're not playing piano. Twins confused. But we're singing. Singing? Schubert's Ave Maria, you know it? Head shakes. Daniel hummed bars. Famous classical piece. Simple, beautiful, emotionally devastating. Required piano accompaniment. Why that? Sophia asked. Because it's honest, about asking for help when scared. Because it's short, 3 minutes. We can learn it in time. And because I can play piano part while you sing. You'd be on stage with us? Isabella's eyes wide. If your mom lets me. If not, you'll do a cappella. Either way, you'll be brave. Next hour. Daniel taught melody, not drilling notes, not criticizing mistakes, but telling story behind song, prayer sung by someone lost, asking guidance. Sing like you mean it, like you're actually scared, actually asking help. Because that's truth, right? You are scared. You do need help. That's not weakness. That's being human. By 5 p.m., twins could sing first verse, not perfect. Isabella's pitch wavered. Sophia rushed tempo, but honest. Victoria watched entire hour. When ended, she entered. Twins tensed. Mom, Sophia started. Victoria held up hand. Looked at Daniel. I still don't trust you. Still think you're hiding. But my daughters were calm that entire hour. Engaged. Present. She paused. Here's my offer. You can teach for Spring Gala. But the moment I see manipulation, moment I see you using my daughters for your redemption story, it stops. Understood? Understood. Victoria left. Twins looked at Daniel with awe. You did it, Isabella whispered. No, you did. You asked for what you needed. I just showed up. 7 days, 4 rehearsals. Each session Daniel pushed further. Breath control, supporting each other's harmony. Mistakes were opportunities to find truth underneath performance. 4th rehearsal, Thursday, February 28th, night before gala. Daniel played through full accompaniment first time. Hands shook, breath caught. First measures, he could barely push keys because all he saw was Sarah in hospital, asking him to play, fingers freezing. But Isabella sang first note, and Daniel remembered. Sing like you mean it. so he played like he meant it. For Sarah, Emma, two 8-year-olds who trusted him when he hadn't trusted himself. For Carnegie Hall man and janitor now, somewhere between failure and redemption. Final chord faded. Emma, watching from doorway, walked over, hugged him. "That was beautiful, Dad." "Sarah would have liked it," Daniel whispered. "Sarah would have loved it, because it was you, really you. Not perfect, just honest." Twins joined hug. That shabby Columbia music room, 4 people who'd lost something, found something else. Hope. March 1st, Spring Gala. Daniel outside Manhattan Prep at 7:45 p.m., wearing thrift store suit that didn't fit. Tie Emma picked 2 Christmases ago. Sarah's blue scarf folded in pocket. Not invited. Not on guest list. But twins texted 7:30. "We need you. Please come." Auditorium full. Through glass doors. Women in gowns, men in tuxedos. Murmur of wealth and power. Expensive perfume and catered food. He didn't belong. But Sophia and Isabella were inside, waiting. Daniel took breath, walked in. Usher stopped him. "Sir, private event, ticket?" "I'm here for the Ashford twins performance." Family, Daniel thought. "Yeah, I guess I am." Usher let him pass. Inside, stunning. Crystal chandeliers, velvet curtains. Steinway Model D on stage, polished, gleaming. 200 seats with Manhattan's elite, venture capitalists, hedge fund managers, tech CEOs, museum boards. Front row, Victoria in $15,000 Valentino gown. Next to her, Maestro Leonard Bernstein Jr., the man she'd invited for legitimacy. Daniel found seat in back, next to janitors hired for event. They recognized him from night shifts, nodded. "You clean here too?" one whispered. "Used to. Got fired." "Why'd you come back?" "Because 2 kids asked." Performance began. 3 student acts, violin, cello, piano. All technically perfect. All emotionally empty. Polite applause no one remembers. 8:05 p.m. Announcer. "And now, Sophia and Isabella Ashford will perform Schubert's Ave Maria, a cappella." Audience murmured. Victoria sat straighter. A cappella wasn't the plan. Program said piano duet. Twins walked on stage. White dresses, matching ponytails, holding hands. Spotlight hit. Their faces went pale. Frozen. 10 seconds passed. Audience shifted uncomfortably. Victoria stood, ready to pull them off. Then Isabella's voice, small but clear. "We're waiting for our teacher." Murmurs grew. Victoria turned to Whitmore. "What is she talking about?" Sophia spoke. "We can't do this alone. We need Mr. Harper." "Who?" someone asked. "Daniel Harper," Isabella said. "He's our teacher, and he's here." "We know he is." Victoria's face white, then red. She looked around, searching, then saw Daniel, standing in back. Ill-fitting suit, borrowed tie. Eyes met. Victoria's expression. "If you walk down this aisle, if you touch that piano, if you make spectacle at my event, I will destroy you." Daniel looked at twins on stage, terrified faces, holding each other's hands. Emma's words. "When you hide it, you're hiding from me too." Sarah's voice. "Play for them, Danny. Play like you played for me." He stood. Audience turned. Daniel walked center aisle. Every step echoed in silence. 200 faces watched. Cameras turned. Phones out. Victoria stood, blocking path. When he reached her row, she leaned close, whispered, "If you humiliate my daughters, I'm not here to humiliate anyone. I'm here to be present. That's all they've ever needed from any of us." Victoria stared, then slowly stepped aside. Daniel climbed stage stairs. Twins ran to him. "You came," Sophia whispered. "Of course I came." "Mom's gonna be so mad." "Let me worry about that. You just focus on singing. Could you do that?" They nodded. Daniel walked to piano bench, pulled Sarah's blue scarf from pocket, laid it across his neck. Hands hovered over keys. Front row, Maestro Bernstein leaned forward, studying Daniel's face. Recognition flickered. Daniel took breath. And played. Opening measures of Ave Maria are simple. C major. 6 notes. Nothing technically challenging. But the way Daniel played, weight given each note, space left between, transformed simple into sacred. Isabella sang first verse. Voice shook. Missed note in third measure, but kept going. Sophia joined harmony second verse. Pitch wasn't perfect. Rushed tempo. But kept going. And underneath, Daniel's accompaniment held them. Supported them. Created foundation solid enough that imperfections became part of beauty instead of flaws to hide. By third verse, auditorium silent. Not polite silence. Real silence. When people forget to breathe because too busy feeling. Someone crying, then someone else. Because what they heard wasn't perfect performance. It was 3 people, 2 children and 1 broken adult, being brave enough to be honest in front of 200 strangers. Final verse came. Daniel closed eyes, saw Sarah, hospital bed, too weak to sit but asking him to play. Her face when he couldn't. Her hand reaching, forgiving him though he couldn't forgive himself. I'm sorry I couldn't play for you then, but I'm playing for you now. Last chord sustained. Daniel held pedal down, let it ring, then slowly, gently, lifted hands. Silence. 3 seconds. 5. Then Maestro Bernstein stood. Didn't applaud at first, just stood. Turned to face Daniel, gave single nod. Then Bernstein began clapping. Slow. Steady. Not performance applause. Respect applause. One by one, audience rose. Not protocol. Because compelled. Because what they'd witnessed required acknowledgement. Victoria stood last. Not clapping. But standing. Acknowledgement. Twins ran to Daniel. He knelt. They hugged. Cameras flashed. Someone shouted, "Bravo!" Applause grew louder. Patricia Chen walked on stage, shook Daniel's hand, whispered, "Welcome back." Applause continued. Felt like hours, probably 90 seconds. When finally stopped, when audience sat, when twins returned to mother's row, Daniel stood alone on stage with Sarah's scarf around neck, hand still shaking. Maestro Bernstein approached. "I know you." "Sir?" "Carnegie Hall, 2009. Chopin's Ballade No. 1. I was in audience. Wrote you congratulatory note." Bernstein studied Daniel's face. "What happened?" "Life happened, sir. That's not playing of someone who gave up on life. That's playing of someone who found it again." Bernstein pulled business card from pocket. "Call me. I'm teaching masterclass at Juilliard this summer. We need instructors who remember what music is actually for." He pressed card into Daniel's hand. Left. Daniel stood holding card, trying to process. Victoria appeared beside him. Twins hung back, watching nervously. "That was..." Victoria stopped. Started again. "That was not what I expected. I'm sorry if I..." "Don't apologize." Victoria's voice cracked. "For first time in 2 years, I just watched my daughters be brave. Really, genuinely brave. Not performing. Not pretending, just brave." She wiped eyes, careful not to smear makeup. "I owe you an apology. What I said at board meeting, about being failure, about giving up, I was wrong. You weren't entirely wrong. I did give up, but I think maybe giving up was what I needed to figure out who I was without music. And now, I get to choose if I want it back. Do you?" Daniel looked at piano. At Sarah's scarf, at twins standing next to mother. "Yeah, I think I do." Victoria nodded, then smiled. Real smile. Tired and sad, but real. "Whitmore told me you were fired. I'd like to offer a different position. Part-time music instructor. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. $35 hourly. My daughters will be in your first class." "Mrs. Ashford?" "And if your daughter Emma needs scholarship to attend Manhattan Prep, I can arrange that. anonymously, through school's financial aid, if you want. Daniel's throat closed. Emma. At Manhattan Prep, with small classes, good teachers, opportunities he'd never given her. Why? Victoria looked at daughters. Because I've spent 2 years trying to fix them, and you spent 3 weeks teaching them they didn't need fixing. That's worth more than any credential. 3 weeks later, Daniel started as part-time music instructor. First class, 12 students, including Sophia, Isabella, Emma. Kept Sarah's metronome on desk, wound every morning. Taught music not as perfection pursuit, but as language for emotions, too big for words. April 5th, Maestro Bernstein visited class unannounced. Sat in back, listened 40 minutes, handed Daniel envelope. Juilliard Summer Master Class, guest instructor. Paid. We need teachers who remember music is about being human, not perfect. Daniel accepted. That evening, he took Emma to Sarah's grave, brought flowers and metronome. Emma asked, "Do you think Mom heard you play at gala?" Daniel set metronome on headstone, wound it. Tick, tick, tick. I know she did, because I finally heard her answer. What did she say? She said, "Stop punishing yourself for surviving. I didn't die so you could stop living. I died so you'd remember what living means." Sat in silence, metronome ticking. "Want to go home and I'll teach you piano, for real this time?" Emma grinned. "I thought you'd never ask." That summer, Daniel taught at Juilliard. Following fall, Emma started 4th grade at Manhattan Prep on full scholarship. Victoria reduced work hours to 4 days, started attending twins lessons every Thursday, not supervising, but watching, eventually learning. One Thursday in May, she asked, "Do you think I can learn? I'm 41. Haven't touched piano since 12 when my mother told me I wasn't good enough. Music doesn't care how old you are, just if you're willing to be honest." He taught her C major scale. She cried while playing. "It's okay, the music can hold that." 3 years later, Emma Harper performed first recital at Carnegie Hall. Played Chopin, Sarah's favorite. Daniel sat front row with Sarah's metronome in lap, tears streaming. When reporters asked Emma afterward what her father taught her, she said, "He taught me that broken things can still make beautiful music. You just have to be brave enough to play." Daniel kept that quote in wallet. Read it on days when grief still hit hard, when Sarah's memory was physical ache, when he wondered if he'd made right choices. Because sometimes the most impossible thing you can do is forgive yourself. Sometimes the person who saves you is an 8-year-old child asking you to be brave. Sometimes a janitor becomes a teacher, and a teacher becomes human, and being human is the only credential that matters. If this story reminded you that second chances are real, if it reminded you that healing doesn't look like perfection, if it reminded you that people we dismiss often have galaxies inside them, share it. Someone you know needs to hear that it's never too late to play again. The metronome keeps ticking, and somewhere Sarah is smiling.